Hi, everyone. It's an amazing turnout. I'm so excited to see you all here. My name is Natalie Augusto Filion, and I serve as the City of Newark Chief Sustainability Officer. In this role, I help to coordinate internal collaboration, sort of helping departments work more effectively together on our sustainability goals and actions. And I also do a good amount of interfacing with our external organizations that are focused on environmental issues. And you all are an amazing cohort of folks who do just that. And what I wanted to do to get started was just talk a little bit about what the Newark Prepared Together program intended to do and what we have done. And just give those of you who have seen this work from like one facet a sense of how big this effort really was, because it's been an incredible year, and I just right from the outset have to thank my colleagues Jinya Nusrat and Gunnar Wainwright, who is probably getting some chairs, who have done so much work to make all of this possible. And just again, before we get started, I want to get you all to give yourselves a round of applause, because you have done so much this year collectively. So we're here today to celebrate and to express our gratitude to all the residents and all our community stakeholders, all of our volunteers who have been part of the Newark Prepared Together project program. Many of you have touched only just one piece of this multifaceted program, so I wanted to, first of all, sort of point out some of the many photographs. Not only are photographs running on our slideshow, but there's some posters that focus in on each of the different projects, so you could get a little bit of a taste of what we did together. So we sought to build community resilience, to build our collective capacity to confront storms, extreme weather events, any kind of shock or stress to our community. Inevitably, knowing each other and working in community makes us more prepared to confront whatever is in front of us. And the two hazards that were primary concern for us when we launched this program a year ago was extreme weather, particularly excessive heat. By some accounts, we're as much as 10 degrees hotter than our neighboring municipalities in Newark because of the way we're constructed. We have a lot fewer trees, fewer green spaces compared to other municipalities. So that was one half of the work that we set out to do, was say, how can we help tackle this issue of heat? I see people seeing photographs of themselves, probably maybe painting some cool roofs on or planting some trees. And then the other sort of piece of the work was focused on flooding. And how do we stop street flooding? What are the interventions that we can put into the ground? And that includes tree planting, but it also includes rain barrels to catch our rainwater and use it in a useful way, right? To water our garden, to wash cars, to maybe even use it in the case of a rain event, or excuse me, a disaster event for, bathing or things like that. We partnered both internally and externally to do this work, and I have to say that our strongest partner throughout this has been the Department of Water and Sewer Utilities. Director Andrea DeBoali has been an incredible resource, and those of you who've seen the PSA that we did, our public service announcement about the Catch Basin program, caught a glimpse of her. We also partnered with the Newark Resiliency Action Plan. It's a coalition that includes Clean Water Action, Clean Water Fund, Ironbound Community Corporation, and the New Jersey Environmental Justice Alliance. So there were key partners with us in this work as well. And I should mention that New Jersey Tree Foundation was also an incredible resource throughout the work that we did. What we're going to do now is hear a few remarks. The first person I'm going to invite up, just very briefly, is Mauricio Garcia, who's Deputy Director of Cities of Service, the funder that made this work possible. And he's got this really amazing view of how this kind of work plays itself out throughout the U.S. and even internationally for the communities that they fund. And I wanted him to just share a few words about his leadership around volunteerism and civic engagement. Come on up.
Hi, everyone. This is about civic engagement, right? Hi, everyone. Okay. So my name is Mauricio Garcia. I am the Deputy Director of Cities of Service. I'm very thrilled to be here today because it's not every day that my team or I get to come over to a city to celebrate you, to celebrate the folks that are actually taking their time to give back to their community and partner with city government. Our office is across the river in New York City. We get to go to other places to do site visits and make sure our grants are being fulfilled in a nice way. So sometimes people don't want us to come, but today is a different story. Today is exciting because it's a celebration. So Cities of Service, who are we? So we are a national nonprofit organization that works with city governments all around the country, and as Natalie said, increasingly overseas with cities in Colombia, in Italy, in Finland. And what we do is we help city executives, mayors like Mayor Baraka, and folks like Natalie, Gunnar, and Jenya to better engage you all to help solve the problems of your city. And so we all know that regardless of what city you are, if you're the richest city or if you have the least resources, there's still a need for help. There's still a need to have a partnership between city government and its people. And we were excited last year to be able to award the City of Newark a grant to do the Prepared Together program, to be able to engage you all, engage the usual suspects, but also engage those folks that didn't think that the city was a partner. They didn't think that the city wanted them to be a partner. And we're fortunate, and you're fortunate, I would say, that you now, and you've had a city that is a willing partner and wants more of you to be involved. And if it's not demonstrated through the mayor, it's definitely demonstrated through Natalie, it's definitely demonstrated through Jenya and through Gunnar. So if we can give them an applause real quickly. So this event is about you. This is about your commitment to the city and to the work that the city is trying to do to make Newark the best city possible. What I'm going to talk about real briefly is about how the importance of individuals, citizens, residents, to be able to see city government as a partner. So you've all heard the news. It seems like we're more divided today than we've ever been before. Whether you're on Twitter, whether you're in the newspaper, whether you read whatever it is, it seems like the world is ending tomorrow. We know that. From Cities of Service, we know that's not true. We know that we're big fans of local government. And we know that if there's any branch of government where you have a friend and you have trust, it's in local government. And it's true here in City of Newark. So more than ever before, it's on you and the city to be able to come together because collective action is better than the city doing it on its own and telling you what to do. And it's better than you doing it without any sort of coordination with your nonprofit partners and with your city partners. So we've seen it time and again in places like next door in Jersey City and Hoboken. We've seen it in San Jose, where there's a lot of resources. They're in the heart of Silicon Valley. We've seen it in Cali, Colombia, where the violence issue is something that U.S. cities have never seen in their lives, and hopefully will never see in their lives. So it's incumbent on you to be able to see city government as a partner, but also to roll up your sleeves a little bit, to get to work, and to tap the energies of Natalie and Gunnar and Jenya and Mayor Baraka to be able to say what things you want to see have done in the city, and they will let you know how they can help, and vice versa. So I'll leave you with that because I don't want to talk too much. But this, again, is about you all and your commitment to the city of Newark. So thank you for everything you do every day. Thank you for the continued work you will do after I'm gone and we're gone. And again, give yourself a hand because you deserve all the credit there is. So thank you again.
Next, I'd like to invite up our mayor, our dear Mayor Ras J. Baraka, whose leadership has really helped a numerous collective impact efforts, right? This is when we all get together and do our little piece of the pie, that's what we mean by collective impact. We're all pulling in the same direction. And this is a leader who makes that kind of work possible in so many different settings. And I'm just very proud to serve under him. Come on up, Mayor Baraka.
So first, I just want all of us to give a round of applause for Natalie, right? She's doing an awesome job here in the city. Every chance I get to say that, I do. I mean, obviously, when you have to check in a lot of places to make sure things are happening. Natalie is making things happen because she's committed to this work. She's committed to these ideas. The Office of Sustainability, the city was committed to making this happen, and she was committed to making these things go forward. I mean, there are a lot of academic people in the city. We have a lot of high-level discussions about things 30,000 feet in the air, about what we believe should happen, what we think should happen, what we feel should happen, what we philosophically wish could happen. But we really need to make a few of these things actually happen. And Natalie is really on the ground, making sure these things take place, that we can really make, not overpromise, but make sure we do what we can do and get as many of you involved in it as possible. So let's give a round of applause again, please. And obviously, I want to thank all of you for volunteering, for being a part of the work of making sure our city is sustainable, that we're looking towards issues that make sure our lives are healthy or well or full, but also more importantly that our children's and our children's lives benefit because we have created systems to make sure that our planet is more sustainable, our city, our community is more sustainable. So I want to thank you, because none of this work could get done without your presence, without your involvement, and we definitely are deeply indebted to the work that you do every day to make sure our city is better. So give yourselves a round of applause again. It's probably more important than you think, because there's a lot of push and pull around ideas, around things that should happen. And I always say to my folks and other people, we got a lot of defense, we just don't have a lot of offense, right? And so we good at playing defense. So much so that, sometimes when we get the ball, we give it back so we can play defense, which means that we have to have an offensive strategy. And our offensive strategy means that we have to collaborate and collectively work together to make our city the best place it can be. And sometimes it takes experiment and falling down and getting back up, and we have to create a space where that's okay, where it's okay to, take risks and do things that other folks aren't doing. But more importantly, we have to solve the problems that we complain about, right? And we need brilliant and imaginative and creative and brave folks that are willing to take on those, those kind of frontiers to fix the things that millions of people around the globe complain about, and be brave enough to get it done. So I want to thank you for all the work you're doing and collectively working with the city. There's nothing we can't accomplish without collaboration. That's the secret sauce. Is the secret sauce around development, around education, around sustainability. Anything we get right in the city, it's because we've done it through collaboration. So your support, your help, your efforts, your ideas, we need them. So you come along and bring as many people with you as possible, and we'll use that to make our city the best place we could imagine. So again, thank you for being here this evening.
All right, so I think we're going to cue a quick slide deck. And I'm going to ask folks to come up one by one as we're calling you up. And then I know some of folks are getting hungry, so what we're going to do is as soon as we recognize all of our honorees, we're going to have them come up here and take a quick photograph with myself, the mayor, and our funder. And then after the dinner, we'll also have some more opportunities for taking some photographs with our backdrop over there. Okay, so our very first person that we are calling up to recognize is Rich Davis, who helped us install rain barrels in residents' homes. This was actually one of the most challenging, come on up. So this was actually one of the more challenging issues to coordinate, because as you can imagine, homeowner needs to be present, we need to have the rain barrel, we need to have all the tools, and we need to have somebody trained and ready to support. And so I'm just going to give Rich the mic for a small amount of time if you want to share a little bit about why this work was important to you, what made you do it, because why do any of us volunteer time? There's got to be something there. So Rich.
How you guys doing? So yeah, my name is Rich. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for coming out, I guess. But yeah, you know, I started out, sorry, mumbling a little bit. I started out working, I actually found out about the Office of Sustainability and volunteering opportunities and everything through Ginia. They had posted on Nextdoor. It's an application that you can get on your computer, your phone. I would definitely recommend getting it. It's great. And yeah, thankfully, you know, there are other opportunities that I had available to me through them. You know, I started off with just, I guess it was the catch basin program, Adopt a Catch Basin, and then did rain barrel installations, and I had a lot of fun doing it. So thanks again for Gunnar and Ginia for helping me. You know, oh, there you are. Get the opportunities to help and everything, and yeah, thanks.
And next, I'd like to invite up Sean Gustafson, who was actually probably one of our only volunteers who had previous experience doing this work in another city, which I thought was really interesting and awesome. And he is our most trees counted. I actually don't know how many there are. Come on up and tell us a little bit about the work you did.
Yeah, so when I heard that Newark was going to do the 2018 tree count, it reminded me, and this kind of dates me, but way back in 2003, I actually was an AmeriCorps member in DC that led a bunch of people in tree counting and tree planting. So yeah, I had some experience, and I was excited because, you know, if you're going to plant more trees, the first thing you have to do is know how many there are. And Gunnar and the whole team has just made it really easy to get involved, and really appreciate it.
So this next, actually, our person who's going to accept the nomination is accepting it on behalf of a group from New Jersey Institute of Technology, NJIT, and they are known as the American Waterworks Association. It's an organization that's made up of students doing work in this space and dedicating their futures to a sustainable water resource. So come on up, Cassandra Ferrara.
Okay, like Natalie said, I'm the volunteering coordinator at American Waterworks Association, and we're an organization of civil engineering students over at NJIT working together trying to build a more sustainable community. We found this opportunity on the Newark website, and we thought it would be a great opportunity for us to all come together and to benefit our community. Even though we're students here and we have our homes all around New Jersey, all around the country, Newark really does become our home and does become our community during the school year, and we're very glad to help out. Thanks.
And last but not least, we have our essentially a version of our like sort of most valued player. This person got involved in as many projects as she could touch, which is pretty awesome. And this is Melissa Luthner, who is coming up.
I mean, I didn't plan to say anything. Just as a resident and homeowner, I just think it's important to get involved in some of the work that's happening in Newark. Also have like a garden, so I mean, the Office of Sustainability was like the first place I would actually go for anything. So thank you, I'm honored, and I look forward to working some more with the Office of Sustainability.
Wonderful. We have a couple special mentions because I think that one thing that came out of this project that we discovered is the number of folks who, for any number of reasons, were coming to this work. And one that happened was that We never planned on having painting on the catch basins, and this was a lesson from other cities that had lots of success with elevating the presence, and we even have a partner called GI Reformers, Green Infrastructure Reformers, who've dedicated an entire campaign to thinking below the surface, to saying there's an entire subsurface infrastructure that we often don't think about. We flush and the water goes down, we turn on the tap, we can take a shower, but we don't think about all the infrastructure that makes that possible, and art is one way to elevate that. And so if you are an artist that has been involved in our Adopt a Catch Basin program, please stand up and be recognized. Thank you so much. And I also have a special mention for some of the youth volunteers. What we've noticed is that folks get involved as residents, as homeowners, as block association captains, but then they are able to sort of bring a group of folks together, even if it's just like, I think Liz was telling me earlier today that when she was out counting trees, there were kids just like sort of following her on their bicycles, trying to figure out what is happening here. And we need to sort of capitalize on that energy. And so in particular, I want to give a special mention to our 2 young boys from the Bells family. If you guys would stand up and be recognized. Thank you so much. This is the future of Newark leadership, folks that are already rolling up their sleeves and tackling problems at the scale of their communities. And last but not least, I want to surprise my colleagues with a special mention for Virginia and Gunnar. If you guys could come up and also be recognized. And I am putting them on the spot here. I got these 2 bouquets, and they were like, what are these for? I was like, I don't know. I'm just going to use them to give them out, and they're for these special guys. So what I would just say, if these... So AmeriCorps Vista is a program called Volunteers in Service to America, and it's basically young people, often young people, not always, but who have this drive to give back and have this interest in sort of being part of solutions and being community-based. And they have both essentially dedicated a year of their lives to service, to this act of service. And we see that Sean did that many years ago, and I hope had a wonderful experience doing that in DC. And it's just been such an honor to work with these young people. So Ginny and Gunnar, let me go do your...
Take a picture?
Yes. All right, and then we will have some food. The very last thing is to have an opportunity for one of our key, in fact, the partner that really, in fact, made it possible for us to get this grant. There was an opportunity to partner with the Resiliency Action Plan Coalition of Partners, and Drew Curtis from Ironbound Community Corporation is going to come up to share a few words.
Good evening. I will try to be brief so y'all can go eat. I'm really excited to be here tonight. It's really the accumulation of a lot of hard work that started way back in 2015, where we came together, Ironbound Community Corporation, Clean Water Fund, Jeanette's in the back, and New Jersey Environmental Justice Alliance to develop a resiliency action plan for Newark, to make Newark a more resilient and sustainable place. We targeted 3 wards in particular, the east, the south, and the west, but we've really touched all 5 wards. And so in 2016, when Natalie came on board, we sat down with her and like, how can we work together to advance some of these projects? And lo and behold, the Cities of Service opportunity came up, and we got together and we started working on it. It's been an amazing experience. Both Gunnar and Ginia have been fantastic to work with. Of course, with Natalie and the mayor too, championing all these efforts behind the scenes. And just to name a few of the projects alone that we've been able to do, we painted a cool roof on our early childhood center that serves 220 kids in early Head Start, and preschool programs that will help reduce energy costs, but also stop the reliance on dirty energy and mitigate greenhouse gases. We also were able to plant 25 trees around Aspen River Park Apartments, which is about 250 unit apartment building that serves low-income residents of Newark. We installed a cistern at our Elm Street community garden, and just last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago, we wrapped up Newark tree counting in Ironbound with 3 young ladies from Newark's Summer Youth Employment Program. So that's just a little bit of what we were able to accomplish. But we're really excited to keep this momentum going with the hundreds, or if not thousands, of people we've engaged to have long-lasting advocates for environmental justice here in Newark. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all. So we're going to have just pull up the lunch, and for folks who are here that are part of a group, the mayor's going to stay for a little bit longer so we can take a few more photographs with our awesome leader. And so we're just going to set up some lights over here, but in the meantime, please feel free to help yourself to a meal. I think the best flow is to go that way and come back. Somebody else will maybe help manage that. Thank you so much, everyone, for your service. We really, really, really value and